Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you an update here with the Mi Max 2 because there's been a huge amount of comments, lots of questions in my unboxing video. So I wanted to just give you my initial impressions and how it is after my first 24 hours full on with it. And I found that it is really good so far. I'm enjoying this phone. It's just a refined Mi Max and really so much better. There's a couple of things that surprised me, and one of them is the performance. Now, I'll show you demos and things like that in the full review, but just the overall ROM to me feels exactly the same, if not, I would say leaning towards more, faster than the Mi Max that I have, which is maybe because it's got an additional 1 GB of RAM, where that model's got 3, this has 4. It's made the OS seem a little bit faster. Now, the Snapdragon 625 isn't exactly a beast, a monster, but I find that the performance is adequate. You will now and then see some stutters in the UI. In other things in here too, that you're going to see this Chinese tool in the ROM, but it's got the latest Android ROM on here. And there were some questions about Google Play. Is Google Syncs, Contact Syncs working? Is Gmail working? Because that was not working on the stock ROM with the Mi 6. So it is working. I have no problems. I've got my contacts all synced. I've got Gmail syncing working just fine. First, it pops up with an error, and what you need to do is just go into Play Store or find Google Services, update that, and make sure you enable all the permissions. And how you do that, enabling all the permissions, is in the settings menu here to go through permissions, and then you go ahead and find your Google Services framework, and make sure I just enabled literally everything there, and the contacts as well, to make sure that that's going to work. Give it permissions to modify your contacts. And the other thing too is make sure that you set it on auto start. So these are the things I have for auto start, which is the Gboard, the contact sync and play services, and then the Google Services framework. No problems, no errors. I'm surprised in the ROM because the Mi Pad 3 ROM was horrible. It was very unstable, and so was the Mi 6 ROM. I could crash it. I can't crash this ROM. I haven't seen it crash, and it has been really good. So a lot of questions about the battery life, and really just one word: phenomenal. It is so good. So I've been running battery, where is it? Should be here. I'm doing a bit of multitasking at the moment, but I still need to go through my whole couple of cycles that I like to do before I post my review. Now here, nothing amazing. Screen on time's been on for 1 hour and 20 minutes. But hang on, look at my battery percent there. You can see hopefully that it's 95%. And right down here, screen on time, 17 hours and 7 minutes. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any screenshots from the Android hardware info there to back up that claim, because what happened is I was just about to take the screenshot. I was at 5%, took a voice call. As soon as I ended the voice call, the phone then powered off completely. So I couldn't capture that. But that was gaming, that was using Chrome, which I've been doing at the moment, and I've got an hour there. But it's looking like, I would say, 15, 16 hours of screen on time. And that's with me with the fixed brightness. I leave it about just over 50%, which you can see in this video, I find to be quite bright. Now, one thing though, that is with wireless on the whole time, okay? So if I go onto data, then it's going to lower that. It's not going to be as good. But even so, this Snapdragon 625 is a super efficient chipset. I really like it, and I'm so looking forward to checking out the Snapdragon 630 when I can get my hands on a mobile that has that. So when it charges, all right, it does get quite hot. Now, charge times, I can not give you an accurate amount just yet, but it's looking approximately 2.5 hours, maybe less. So very quick to charge, considering this has got a 5,300 milliamp hour battery. But it heats up. I got my thermal probe out and checked it out. It got up to 37 degrees, so quite warm to the touch. That's the only time I've felt it getting hot. Now, the build quality is just so much better than my Mi Max, which you can see here. This Mi Max has had quite a beating. Look at all this damage here. That's because I've dropped it a lot. Hopefully I won't be dropping this, but I do find the larger phone can be a little bit clumsy. It fits in my pocket okay. Another couple of areas I wanted to mention too was the voice call quality has improved over the Mi Max because it now has that different earpiece. Now, when you get a call coming in, the loudspeaker will also work here, and in the bottom, So it's a lot louder. You're going to hear your calls come through. And also just to mention, if I go back into this game here, where are we? Asphalt that I just started. Turn the speakers up a little. Although I can't play that music track because it'll give me copyright problems. So this handles just the mids, this speaker here. Mids and the bass really, where this is treble and a little bit of mids, but most of the deeper, lower tones are coming out of here. And I find it works well, so for gaming and just internet performance, overall ROM performance, switching. I've got Chrome here. And I found it to be really quite good. Everything's smooth. The performance, like I mentioned just before in the start, compared to my Mi Max, I feel is better, even though it is a lower chipset that according to benchmarks say is slower, but I think it's got something to do maybe with that extra bit of RAM. And I installed Google Keyboard. I dumped the Xiaomi keyboard. I hate it. It's not very good, but this one's okay. But things like web browsing on this mobile is just so nice. Like, why would I need a 7-inch or 8-inch tablet even when I've got a tablet in my pocket? And you can run the desktop mode here, of course, in Chrome. And there we go. So you have a look. You can see that it's a little bit choppy just then because this is super image heavy. But overall, everything to me seems pretty good. There's a little bit of lag there. So that's probably where the slower Snapdragon 625 will show up. You can see just then that it's not as good. But I can get lag like that using the Mi 6 with its Snapdragon 835. So the main positives of this phone so far for me are just the improved build quality. It feels great. It looks a little bit better. Like even the bezels there around the screen. I'm glad that they slimmed that down. See the difference there? So that inner bezel, even though the outer bezel now looks a little bit wider, side by side, you can see there's a big difference. But not only that, the screen just seems a little less reflective and slightly better on the Mi Max 2 there. Probably because maybe the glass they've used on it is slightly different. According to sources on GSM Arena, that it's Gorilla Glass 4 they've used. I happen to believe that because this thing I've dropped so many times and I've never used a screen protector on it. I hate screen protectors. And along here, there is a little scratch. I don't know whether you can see it, but not too bad. And if you find a little scratches, so I do believe that they have used Gorilla Glass on these mobiles and not the Dragon Tail version because it's holding up really well. Other things I can mention here that the cons to it, well, of course, is the size. It is bulky and it's big. The camera performance I still find to be a bit of a letdown. Now, it could be the Mi application. So I know a lot of people have mentioned there, use Open Camera, use this camera, use the other application. That could be the problem there. Okay, it is definitely better than this. It is an upgrade if you've seen my unboxing. But I find the low light just to be over-processed, over-sharpened low light photos. I'll have examples and everything like that is going to be in my full review. This is just something in between just to let you know after 24 hours how I feel about using this mobile. And really, I'm loving it so far. And it's just the battery life on this thing is just crazy good. It is really insane. I'll see if I can go back into the battery figures there. Battery and performance. There's no extra performance mode. People keep asking me, put it on performance mode, put it on battery saving mode. It's on balanced. No setting here on the Qualcomm chips. That you only get that in MIUI when you're using the MediaTek ones. Anyway, battery. So at the moment, I was just doing a bit of Chrome. I've only just recently charged it, and I'm going to try and kill the battery, which is so hard. So screen, the biggest consumer here. So 1 hour, 30 minutes, and I've lost 6% battery life. And I was in Chrome looking at some videos and things, listening to music too. By the way, the quality out of the jack, also really good. Fingerprint unlocking is working really well. So just going to wrap up this video here, but one last question that's been quite common too in the unboxing video is, which should you get? So should you get the Mi Max or should you get the Mi Max 2? I would say it really depends on what your needs are. If you want to save money straight away, go for this one, the Mi Max, of course. But performance-wise, okay, forget about the benchmarks. I feel this one is clearly faster, maybe because of the Android 7 ROM, maybe because I've got an extra gigabyte of RAM here, or it's just better optimized, the ROM. This has the global version, the official global version with the OTA updates, and it's okay. Battery life as well. This thing I get 3 to 4 days of medium use out of my Mi Max, and sometimes even 4. Really depends what I'm doing, of course. And this to me looks like I'm going to be getting 4 to 5 days. So if you value battery life and you don't mind having such a large mobile phone, I think this is a real winner, despite having the Snapdragon 625. A lot of people, I just feel you need to get over that point because it is a good chipset. Now, there's going to be a gaming review as well. That's going to come up. So you'll see in the gaming review that, yes, it will have more stutters than the Snapdragon 825 or the 835 because it's only got the Adreno 506 in here, so not the most powerful. So I hope to see you back in that gaming review, and there will be a full review with benchmarks, 4G speeds, and detailed battery stats and charging times. All of that, including more on the camera and things like that. Thank you so much for watching this First Impressions 24 Hours with the Mi Max 2 video.